others engineers going to come or anyone came or no idea. Okay, no problem. So the main thing is like we have to focus on the two things. So last day we discussed on a few modules. Like today I'm going to just explain one or two things from that depth. Okay. The first thing is going to be like the main thing is going to be functional and non-functional requirement. Whenever if any interviewer, if you are attending any interview, these guys are giving a requirement. So in the system level, what they going to give mainly, if they are giving like you have to draft the system for the banking system. So how your guys going to be described that? So how the banking system going to be? The first thing is going to be how to divide it into two parts. One is the functional and the non-functional requirement. Okay. So this is the full draft. Like I designed. Actually, this is one of our guy designed some things like a document for the system design and the cloud architect. Okay. We'll get it from here instead of putting the MD file. This is too better for UI. Okay. So it's not visible. No problem, I will explain the things. Okay, let's take an example. The main thing first you have to master in the things is the functional and the non-functional requirements. Okay. Now anyone tell any examples like if you take any job portal job portal application, what are the functional, what are the non-functional requirements? Just describe that. What are those? What are the functional? What are the non-functional? Yesterday I gave the example for the you are coming from your home to your task, right? So now you guys describe from job portal application. What job portal application will do? They can able to show the jobs. You can able to apply the jobs. And what is the other things going to? Just think in your mind, and you have to describe what are the functional, what are the non-functional requirement in them. Before you guys describe, let me explain actually one more time. So functional requirement is nothing but what system going to do. What system should do. That is called as a functional requirement. Okay, this is the proper definition of the functional requirement. If it is a non-functional requirement, while what are the things system doing, right? How it is behaving, that one. So like if you are applying the job, while you are applying, in the middle if the application got crashed, what going to happen? The same job applied by the 1,000 candidates same time. How your application going to behave? These are the things is come under the non-functional requirement. Like how the system should behave for that one. That is a simple thing. What system was doing is called as a functional requirement. While I am doing that thing, how the system was behaving, that is called as so called for as a non-functional requirement. So you have to master in that. Okay. Now you guys try for the job portal, same job portal application. You guys tell that what are the functional, what are the non-functional requirements. What is functional, what is non-functional? Right. What are the things come? What are the things you have? What are the things the job portal application should do? Yeah, applying jobs. Okay. Registering job. So registering job portal first of all, creating a new user, registering or sign up, those authentication, everything come under the functional requirement. These are things system should do. System should handle those things. Okay. What are the non-functional requirements? Now.
We should enter. From user.
From user?
Like entering details.
Entering details, okay. Any other example? Try better. guys are confused? Tell me that, I will explain that. So where you guys got the confusion between the functional and non-functional network? What is the confusion actually? You explain that, I will explain like where you guys really confused. Based on that,
How
I can.
many users can use that? Is the problem.
What are the things
How
already?
use registration is a one thing as a function.
Okay.
How many registrations as
Yeah, it's true. So like let's take an example. So functional is nothing but like a simple example. Okay, you have the one portal job application. Now how many users was registering that registration, handling the login, sign up, everything is come under the functional requirement. These are the things system should have to do, right? Now come to the non-functional things. While registering, let's take an example. At the same time, 1000 or 10 million users was doing the registration. Okay, how your system going to behave under that? That is so called for the non-functional requirement. That means those things not under like a simple example you take it. While I'm giving the any assignment to you guys, right? Like a banking system, library management, those things I gave, right? So in that time, what I will mainly mention functional requirement only. Non-functional requirements I never mentioned that one. Why? Because whenever if you are just a developer, you mainly focus on the functional requirement. That means a business logic. How my application going to behave. That is the one thing. Next thing is a non-functional requirement. While you are doing those features, like you are suggesting some jobs based on the profile, those are the functional requirements. But while you are suggesting, are you suggesting the correct job? So like that, are you suggesting the all other guys like you have the one job, all the guys trying to apply the same job at the same time? What's going to happen in your application? This is a non-functional requirement. So nothing but how your system available, how your system scalable. So system design mainly focus on the non-functional. Functional requirement developer can easily do, but non-functional things developer can't do. Engineer or senior level guys only going to do that. What is the major reason of that? Because they understood the system very well. How my system, like if I am giving the requirement to you, okay. So why I am starting my journey, initially if any requirement come, my mind only focus on complete the task and it should work. I have to complete on flow. But here onwards, if anyone telling now any requirement, my first thing is going to be how my system going to handle that one. Like now only one user I can think in mind, I can complete it. Like how you are guys solving the lead code problem. While you are solving, maybe your main focus is one or two scenarios. Maybe 3 test cases only they gave right initially. While you are testing your code only, they will run the 80 test cases. That is the actual thing. How 80 test cases your code going to work. So don't worry, like again I am telling, so AI can't do nothing with these. AI can do the best things. You just adapt with that AI, you can try to use with that. Simple. You try to do it. Don't try to compete with that. I am the guy, I can easily close this. Don't do that. Just adapt with that and use the tool for you. Simple. Don't let AI think, you guys think. Get the work done from AI. Idea should be yours. Your direction, if I am telling, right, you have to do this way. If you are using this TP, it won't work. You have to tell. AI can't do that. Then you have to tell the proper prompting, like you have to do this one, avoid this kind of things. Everything you must describe initially. Okay. So I hope you guys get the clear idea. Like these are the main things: is availability and scalability. Next thing is going to be like each API. Now user was registered in your application. How much time it was taking? That is everything is non-functional. Okay, interview mainly focused on the non-functional requirement. Why? Because if you are well and good in the non-functional requirement, those guys will assume, okay, these guys are have a clear idea in the core. Okay, so that is the major thing. Now any doubts in the functional and non-functional requirement? Is it clear? Okay. So if this one is clear, we'll come back to the load balancing. Okay, these are the major two things. Few theorem was there, those theorem I will teach later. Okay, not now. Okay. Before that, I will get some understanding about the load balancing. Okay. So any idea? Last day also I explained, right? So what is the idea? Performance, scalability, gap theorem not required. Yeah, we'll come to this one. this is should important. Like whenever if you are doing any system design interview, you have to time allocation should be there. Okay, first 5 to 10 minutes you have to should understand the requirement. What are the things they gave to you? Like they gave like you have to build a system for the banking. In that banking, you are only having the like a cashier system, like a cash counter only you have now. In the entire bank, you have only the cash counter. Then how you are going to design your system? Simple. Like that only they will give the requirement. You have to understand what are the functional, what are the non-functional. If you have any question, you have to raise that time itself. Okay. So this is the first thing. Next thing you have to estimate. If you want to how much time it will take each API. So those things maybe initially you guys don't have idea, but you can do that initially based on the cache, based on which database are you using. Based on that you can do that. Okay. So then is the high level system design, like how many APIs you need, like how my flow going to be. You draft some flow chart. Okay. Then you deep dive into that, you will get the final things. Then final things while we are wrap up only, you have to discuss about that monitoring how your alert system, like in the middle 2 AM if the system crash, how your alert system going to be. So those things you have to focus that time only. Okay. So these are the major things. So focus on that one. Okay. So let's come to the load balancing. What is mean by load balancing? So without load balancing, what going to happen? So what is the major point to have the load balancing? Load balancer. So these are the calculation. Actually, you asked it, right? So how am I going to calculate that one? So this is the calculate formulas and how the system going to. Okay, I will share this one. You guys also you can search this one. You will get. I will share this one in the group. Okay, you just to open this one. This document will be available. This is not required. Cap here also not a big deal. Okay, so detail level not there. I will explain the what is the exact meaning of the load balance. Okay. First, let me describe the issue. Then we'll go to the actual solution. Okay. So load balancing is nothing but you created the own system. Okay. Now your system becoming very well. Okay. Now you not even tested your application per second or same time. If that same API hit by 1,000 or 10,000 user, how your system going to behave? You don't know. So that time your system got broken. Every system got stuck. Like how many times if you get your laptop will stuck. If you are running some heavy things, right? Like if you are running the data, definitely laptop will stuck. If you have low configuration laptop, data not supporting. Okay, it will stuck like that. Or you will going to be clicking the power button and just restart our system, right? The same way the application also will happen. Why? Because if it is reached that throughput, what going to happen? If the limit was reached, the CPU was useful, the RAM use was full. What going to happen? System is stuck. Nothing going to happen. So that time only, how we are going to solve that issue? Load balancer coming to the picture. What is the load balancer actually? It knows actually how many. If you have the 2 or 3 server, how can I explain that one? You have the one server, okay. So if you want to maintain the traffic, what you have to do? You have to know if I'm doing a single server, how my what is my application capacity? Simple. If you know the capacity of application, based on that you have to do the replica. Replica is nothing but, as I mentioned earlier, you have on your server, from that you do the duplication. But all the things using the same database, everything is same, but it's kind of ditto. Like I can able to act and here and office. Like I can tell my office colleagues I am working in the remote, but here I can teach. So this is kind of things I can able to act. So that is the application replica. You can able to create a multiple server for same application. How the Netflix was streaming was happening without broker. Even if any new episode launched, any Game of Thrones or anything, if the new episode, new season was launched, at that time, if all the users going to try to watch, how they are handling that traffic, how these guys handling the traffic is come under the non-functional requirement. How the things distributed to the other services, that is so called load balance. Okay, any doubts? Clear, right? So these are the base things. So actually these are the things designed. You guys try, like how many users coming, what is your how many GP you need, how many storage you need. Everything I described here, like as based on you can change this one actually. Total availability, how much time it will available for entire year. This everything you can calculate. You guys just spend some time on these things. Okay. Whenever if you are learning the system design,
So
network,
can you explain before?
which one? Previous one.
Yes.
No, you guys just go through this kind of some matrix and the statics of how much active users coming. You like you asked it right. How can I do the calculation? This is kind of calculation like if you have guys doing some investment, like if I'm
Does
investing,
it keep that limit for the users?
you can check here how much storage we need. You don't know how much storage you need, right? This is kind of top level stats. You can able to analyze your system. If 1,000 users was using my application, how much storage I need, how much RAM I need in my virtual machine, everything you can analyze from here. That's the things. Apart from that, nothing else. But it will differ based on your how you are architecting your system. Okay, so whenever if you are learning the system design, the major thing is going to be the networking. Okay, so what is meant by networking? What is meant by networking? Networking is not a small topic, it's a really too big. Connections, any other things. What is networking? Simple.
Connection between two nodes.
Connection between the
Two nodes or modules.
nodes or to modules, to entities, anything else. Okay. Any other ideas? What is meant by networking? Networking is nothing but how the communication happen between the two systems. Here I am telling the two systems, right? It could be the client, it could be the server, it could be the user, it could be anyone. Okay, like how I told, like who is the caller of the object I mentioned while I am teaching in Java, right? The same point between the two systems, if they are doing the communication. So networking is too important. So apart from you guys, you are learning the other things, right? So if you are mainly focused on the backend, networking is too important. You have to know. Like if I am searching this one in the Google, right? If I am doing this search bar, actually, so that's GitHub username, then github.io. Then I have to do some path query, right? If I am doing this, how I am getting the response? How the things was happening? So how the things was actually happening? If I'm requesting here, right? It directly go to my router. From the router have the IP. From that IP, it will go to the internet. From that internet, it knows where I have to go. I have to go to the GitHub IO, right? Behind the scene, this is called as a DNS system. DNS is nothing but domain naming system. Okay, so skip your name, just a domain. Domain is nothing but just a naming convention. How you guys have the naming? Like that, each system have the names, like a task, like our company name, 10x scale, or anything. Like let's take my name as a Muttarasa, right? Same. Each system has the own name, and it has the unique address also. Okay. Now using this name, what DNS will do? DNS will exchange your name to your IP. Now what I'm really asking GitHub.io domain, right? From the domain, what is the IP allocated? I got the IP. Then what going to happen? From that IP, I know the destination now. I can able to reach that IP. Once I reach the IP, the next thing is going to be in that IP, this particular source available where. those things handled by GitHub IO. So here also, like if you want to know what is the IP for this GitHub.io, you can able to get that. If you are doing NS lookup, you can able to get that actually. What is this domain assigned for which IP? Like if you want to get the current our IP, right? Is it visible, right? This is our current IP, like a 49.205.117 and 141. This is our current IP. So who are connected to this router? Or I think I connected my mobile phone IP. No, this is active. So this is my act IP address. So this is the way. And I hear one more thing: how many IP address I can assign? Because each guys have the 2 or 4 system at least. Right? Maybe the maximum IPs can available 4 billion only. But in entire planet we have 9 billion people, 9 plus billion people was there. Each guys have the minimum 3 to 4 system. Then how the IP allocation was happened? You try to find the answer for this. Okay, simple. Just maybe if you are actually start from like a IP4 address, it starts from 0.0.0. Then it end with 255, 255, 255.255. These are the max. If you are doing the calculation, maximum you can do the around 6 to 7 billion IP you can able to get. 7 billion. If you are doing those IPs, few IPs neglected for like a managing and a sub private IP, so many IPs was there. If you are neglected, finally you will get only the 4 billion IP. See, these are the true. Okay, I am not telling you some random task. This is the actual stats actually. You can mainly get the 4 billion IPs. From that 4 billion IPs, how you are going to assign to the 8 billion system? 8 billion guys only. Each guys have the minimum 2 or 3 system. I have the laptop, I have mobile phone, I have tablet, I have smartwatch. Each one have the IP address, right? Then in that, these guys are rotating the IP as well. This is not static IP. If I am changing to my mobile network, the IP will be changed. How this? If you are checking the router tomorrow, the IP will be changed. Maybe within 4 hours or 24 hours. Is based on the ISP. Who is the service provider of TPD? Those guys only can able to decide which IP have to give. Think about that. Is a really big topic. If you are more curious about that, just go and check how the IP system was working. The simple architects I can tell. Top level one guy was there. Those guys will allocate these IPs. Okay. From those guys only this Airtel, Geo, everything buy that IP from those guys. So this here some hierarchy will be there. Like it's based on the region, like Asia, then US Central. Based on the some region will be there. Based on the region, the some IP will be allocated. From that IP only these guys are giving to us actually. So that's why in the entire tech world, if you are doing a small movement, we can able to track. But the things they are doing some hacking, some tricking, right? So each one have the some tricky, some loophole. If you find the loophole, you also become hacker. So that is not our core, but I am telling. So how the IP. If you curious about sometimes if you have the more time, what I don't know. If you have this much time, this kind of time, you use this purpose. Like how the IP was working.
There's every region has some particular ID of IPs.
Yeah.
Doesn't it change for another region?
It will change actually. So top level one guy will be there. You search. I don't want to reveal that. That's why top level one guy was there. That is the only one guy controlling all the IPs. That 4 billion IPs. From the 4 billion only, each region they gave some IPs. Maybe around 4 to 5 regions only they segregated. Entire India and some other countries can come under the Asia. Okay, like how our timing going to be Asia, Kolkata, right? Like that Asia, other regions also there. Like that they will segregate. Some part of IP going to there. Like there is a lot of difference between that. Like if I am using my GCP cloud provider or AWS, right? From those also IP will be there. For virtual machines also IP was there, but that is different. That have some ASO something kind of things was there. From the IP itself, we can identify this IP coming from Geo router or Airtel router or my personal mobile phone. Everything you can able to track using single IP address. So IP address we can do so many things. That is an important topic for the networking. But you guys just aware of that, okay? So this is the things I explained. Your device, my device too, it's going to my router. My router too, it's going to my ISP. ISP nothing but who is the service provider? Maybe Geo, maybe Airtel. Here is a T-Pinning. These are the local guys, right? So these are the called the so-called for us ISP. Next is the ISP backbone. Who is this backbone? ISP backbone. What is mean by that? ISP backbone, IXP. These are the two guys, like I mentioned as ISP backbone and IXP, right? These are the two guys. Begin the thing how the IP management everything will happen there. Whenever if you are going to ask any IP related things, they will respond back to you something like that. ISP backbone is nothing but this kind of. Are you thinking like everything is wireless? Definitely not. How the data transfer here to US, from US to here? That's a cable. Cables was there. Under the ocean, cable was there. There is nothing is direct wireless communication. Everything wired communication only. But between here this range, if I am using wireless Wi-Fi, right? But particular range only I can use. But these guys also connected the like that is called as fiber optics cables. Like every entire world fiber optics cables was connected. If you want to that cable structure also in Google Map also it was available. You can change the traffic or something. If you change the graphic, you can change the cables connections. Okay, that will be too interesting. If you spend the time, that will be time out things actually. Okay. So next one is the fundamental may going to be how your application layer. This is really important. Any doubts? So next is actually these are the layers we have to understand. Okay, so application. So it starts from actually here. So physical data link, network, transport session, presentation, and application. These are the layers. Okay, in the layer how your application. If you are build one single application, what are those layers? We start from L1. We start from physical layer like cables and signals. It's kind of like a bits we are mentioning, right? These are the things. Next is the data link. How each system have the MAC address. IP address are different, MAC address are different. MAC is a static name. IP will be changed. So initially I mentioned my name is IP, right? Now I can consider my name as a MAC. It won't change. But my ID, now I am working in one particular company, they will give some particular ID for me, right? Some particular code. If I am working on some another company, they will go into another unique ID. So that IP address will change, but my name won't change. So means once you crack the MAC ID, you can do anything with that. So that is the static things. It won't change. If I am opening this system has a MAC address. It won't change. MAC address it's static. IP will be changed. Okay, fine. Next one is the networking. Like a networking is nothing but how the routing system was happened here to there. Now I am mentioning right like how the things was scoped. The request was processed to how many things, how many layers was there. These are the things come under that one only. Okay. So you can check how the routing system going to be. Okay. So this is a good documentation. I will share in the task group. Okay, the Telegram. You guys check it out. Okay. Next one is the layer model. So it could be like that. Next is the transport. Transport in the sense like I initiated the request from that how that request to transfer to the other things. Okay. These are the one things for the network communication. Okay. Next, how your things is managing, how you are going to presentation your request, then finally it reach to your application. And this is the end user. It could be HTTP or SMTP. So there is a multiple protocols all there. Okay. Okay, that is the first thing. Next one is the like what I discussed earlier, IP and DNS basic and TDL GO right routing. So everything come under that. So why these things are really important? So I mentioned right how the DNS system was working. So now here it's they are mentioning as a domain naming system as GitHub.io. But my router don't know what is mean by GitHub.io. So what it will do, it will went to my ISP. From that ISP, it will go to the internet. From that internet, while you are searching, it will exchange the IP first based on the domain. From that, it will go to the destination address. Like that IP will run some definitely in one of the system, right? Like if I am sending any messages, if I am sending to you, WhatsApp should know your IP. So those things is a bit different, but I'm telling like if I'm sending some mail, so take a mail as communication. WhatsApp is a bit different. They are following some different protocols. That is totally different. It will be confusing. I will take a mail system. Okay, if I'm sending the mail, you have to know the two mail. So what Google has to do, Google find the two mail. Is it available in my entire database? Is that user actually available? From initial, those guys are we can't able to get the acknowledgement. The mail was sent or not. I can't check that one. But nowadays, if you are sending the wrong mail ID, if it is not exist, that will tell actually user not found. So that was introduced later on, but the earlier stages that was not there. How that system was working. So that is two important. Lot of things you are seeing in the screen, right? That is not major magic and what other things you are developing. If you are typing something, it was you can able to create on form. It was working. It was capturing the data. It is not an interesting thing. Behind the scene, if you are giving one character, how the character was stored to the final place, how it is retrieved back, how it showed to the user, that is too interesting part. If you're once interested, if you are deep dive into that, so money in the wallet, job is not a big deal. That will come automatically. If you master these things, it's not a big deal. Okay, that is like a kind of a drag. If you are adding some other things, right? If you are just starting, will be a bit difficult. But once you started, there is no end. It will be continuously going to loop. It will go like that. Okay, so how the DNS router system was working here, like things was there. Okay, so if you want to see that how the recursive solution flow. So there is a two kind of IPs. One is the private IP, another one is the public IP. So this here, like if I'm clicking, so it's nothing but NAT. Do you guys any idea about the NAT? What is meant by NAT? So what going to happen if this is a router? This router has a public IP, but my system don't have the public IP. So what going to happen? If I am initiating any request, it's going to my router. From that router only, it's going to my ISP. Everything's happened, right? If for this device, let's take an example. This is a one router. From this router, now I'm connecting the 5 devices. Now you all guys are connected to the same router request. You requested something. It reflected on my screen how it is going to be. Understood what I'm telling you? All like how many? 4, 6, 7 guys in this room, right? We are 7 connected to the same router. If I'm initiating one request, it go to my router. I don't have any public IP, but router knows your IP. So this is kind of NAT system. NAT is nothing but it's a private IP address. For each guy's IP will be allocated under this router. This is like kind of magic kind of things, but you think how they are initially how architecture these things initially guys was done. Think about that one. Now we are a bit struggling to learning that one, right? Think how these guys are initially implemented this kind of system. It's a bit more interesting. Like so, this is the things actually. This like take example. This is our ACT router. This have the public IP. Okay. Once it's come to the our router, here we have here it's have some NAT system. That means like we have the multiple other system. One minute. Can you see? I think this is a bit different. I don't think so. so I can't zoom that one. But is it visible, right? Is it visible or blurred? Okay. So like first they are telling the IP, then is the host name. What is the city? Hyderabad. What is the region? Telangana. Country India. Log. Origin. So this is Atria. This is the origin actually. So how these things are happening? This is a postal code. Time zone. Read me. You guys are just thinking this is a simple router, right? If anything can, anyone can monitor. But I think you guys, how many guys have the security system in your mobile phone, like a pattern, pin? These guys are you guys are thinking if I did that one, maybe whoever have the ignorance, don't know that, they maybe they can't open your system. But if you guys knows the actual system, breaching the sense things is not a big deal. Understood? So what are things you are doing? There is no without evidence you can do nothing. Everything will be tracked. Keep in your mind. So that is not silly, but you guys just think about it. So everything we can able to track. So how the government controlling, like how my TikTok not available our region. If you change your IP, go to check your Play Store, TikTok will be available. You can use the TikTok. But India it's a banned, right? Yeah. How they banned? So that's come under the telecommunication ministry. Okay, so I don't want to quote that, but if you guys are searching, these are the really interesting concept. Okay. Okay, so these are the things how you guys have the idea, right? What is meant by NAT? So NAT is nothing but it's became the type. This is a public IP. From became the things, I also have some IP. For me, one IP will be allocated for you. These are the private IPs. No one is aware of it. Apart from my system, my router, no one knows these IPs. Okay? Fine. So these are the TLS, like a time to live. So that is nothing but is one of the advanced concept in the domain system, like a DNS. Like how much time is based on this time, like how much time it was producing, like based on that you can see something like this is a good system or bad system, higher loading DNS server. Like there is a multiple DNS providers also there, GoDaddy, Cloudflare. These guys are DNS system. If you want your domain, you can able to buy the domain. Okay, so maybe like if you try with your name, I don't know, the domain will be available. You can get that domain as well, but you have to pay something. But you will get the domain for your name as well. You can able to build your own system. Everything you can build. So begin listening how these guys are mapping the domain. Whenever if you are deployed any application, right? If we are running the Java application our local, what is our local? How we are going to reach that application? Domain will be localhost, right? So localhost also mapped to the one particular IP. That IP is 127.0.0.1. It was mapped to the localhost. Okay, like that you can map to the internet as well. Once you make this application available to the internet, first for that machine IP will be allocated. Which that public IP you have to raise the SSL certificate. Once you got the SSL certificate, you have to map in the domain naming system. If you map your particular domain in the domain system, you have to give your IP. Whenever if any guys are asking this name, like github.io, if anyone asks you routing this destination, this particular machine. From that which machine you have to deliver. Like if I'm asking anything to my router, it going to my ISP to the internet to the destination. From the destination to I can able to receive the response, right? Like that same way I can do in my application as well. Like I don't want to. I hope I didn't any overwhelm that. As much simple how I can explain, I explain. Any doubts you just raise. Clear? Next is the protocol. This is too important. Why? Because like let me tell the issues. Why these protocols they created? Like if I am transferring the file, like how many of you used the button mobiles? like that Nokia and the Samsung. So many button mobiles was nowadays only the touch was came, right? So earlier days, button mobiles was there. If anyone send any image to that button mobile, can you see how the image was loaded? You don't send that image message to anyone, that button message. If you are sending any emojis or any button things in how things will be loaded, half image only loaded. Rest of the half will be loaded. What does that mean? What going to happen? Your one message is segregated into multiple smaller chunks. Let's take an example. I want to send this remote to another guy. For example, I will first half will be cut, send. Next half will be cut, send. Next half will be cut, send. Finally, they gathered all the things in a single message. They will show you. Okay, this is the things actually. Now, so what happened actually in earlier days? They following the same protocol for all the things. But what happened? There is no need because image is different, text is different, voice is different. So for all the things they created one particular protocol. So that means for image, if you want to send the image, you want to break into this much tiny part. This is the maximum chunk size I can able to send as a single shot. Like that, everything designed by the protocol. So protocol is nothing but just a rules. How you are processing your request. These are the things is called so called for the protocol. Okay. So there is a main protocol as a TCP and
keep the rules, or you said that the keypad code is while we are sending the image, that is when always we send the text messages only. Does the load will be increased by that? It will come like that, or by the protocols it will come up?
I didn't get.
When we send the message in the keypad, it will send properly and soon. When we send the image, it takes time. But it is based on the protocols or by the load balancing.
So totally two things are totally different. Don't mix it up. Protocols is nothing but if you are sending the text message, you have to follow some set of rules. Like if you are sending the email, you have to follow the protocol is called. There are also multiple protocols was there. For sending the mail, you have to use the SMTP protocol. For receiving the mail, you have to use the IMAP. Let me explain. Actually, I will come to the point. Okay, if you are doing that for mail system, you have to use the SMTP. For that is the send the message. If you are get the incoming messages, or you have to configure the IMAP protocol. So protocol is nothing but how you are going to handle your request. That's it. Load balancing is kind of totally different. That is request based. This is a smaller unit of particular request. Understood? This is how many requests I am processing is so called for as a load balancing. How it was distributed to the all other servers. That is so called for the load balancing. But protocols is nothing but how that single request has processed. If it is a SMS communication, the protocol will differ. If it is the mail communication, the protocol will be different. Protocol is nothing but it has some layers. Like I start from like some layers was there. If you are going to go to the TCP also, each layer, each things will be added. First layer authentication will be added. Next layer encryption will be added. Next layer it will cover some particular IP, some node, extra nodes it will be added. Finally, it will add some security. It will send. We have the Telegram, right? So actually, initially one system was the end-to-end encrypted. So that means in the middle, like now you guys are thinking if I'm sending any message, no one can't open it, right? Where it is traveling actually? Now you guys think it's going to this router. Else if you are using your mobile internet, going to Geo. Geo 2 it available in the over the internet. If it is available, anyone can reach that message, right? Anyone can track your messages. So, but nowadays, what these guys are did, if these guys think, if these guys thought also, they can't be able to encrypt in the, like a de-encrypt in the middle. That is the encrypt communication. Once the message was encrypted, you can't open anyway. If you want to open that encrypted message, you have to some ID. That ID, WhatsApp only will have. That secret key, WhatsApp only has. If that ID leaked, can't do nothing. If even WhatsApp thought also, they can't able to open the message in the middle. Once it received to the destination machine only, it can able to open. That's why like recently one big conversation was happened. Why you guys did these kind of things? Okay, if you why because like some unwanted things also happening. So I want to see the message. Government asked openly directly. So why because India like that much security system is a bit different. But USA you have to follow certain rules. Like if you are going to try to automate some scraping, right? Okay, so I want to scrape content from the website. Try to scrape from India website. You can easily do that. But if you are trying to the US website, like I'm not telling it's against that, but it's following some security kind of things. They have to follow. Once you are launching an application, you have to follow the GDPR, you have to follow the compliance, everything you have to follow. India is also nowadays is most of the application has. You can able to easily scraping. Scraping is a big concept, okay. So initially I told we are gathering more jobs from some particular sources, right? So how we are doing? So we are also doing the scraping. We are getting the jobs and we are putting in particular place. Matching with your profile, we are also showing the some jobs in the career pilot we are mentioned, right? Like that. So it has some security system. You can easily breach it. That time they will block you. Actually, if you are trying to scrape, they will block your IP. You can't do nothing. You can't like if you are raise the another request, you can't do nothing. They will directly return the 403. What is mean by 403? Forbidden status code. Whenever if you are receiving the 403, you are not accessed anymore. So they can able to understand this is coming from the cloud or this is from the real user. They can able to track via IP. Okay, so but the Indian system also is not like that. This is more stronger. I have to go through so many websites and so many portals. Those guys have done really well. They have those guys have the anti-bot system, captcha system, so many things was there. Without authentication, I can do nothing. Okay, so nowadays most of the guys was there, but publicly like it's not evolved that much to compare the other guys. Like we are a bit narrow. Okay, so these are how the TCP will work, like a transmission control protocol, like how the things was working. Like this is a three-way handshake. Actually, it's a synchronized and like you just see the properties. Like 1 minute, yeah. Evaluation not needed. So how the things first is the main is these guys are focused on these three things. So how the connection is going to be, how is it was reliable, how it was ordered. Okay, these are the main thing TCP protocol managed. Okay, TCP is nothing but it's a transmission, like how your client to server, how client to your how server to client the connection was happening. Nothing else. Okay. So if you are going to the UDP, it is a bit different. Here only datagram protocol is nothing but data pack. It's broken into smaller chunks. So here though no handshake will be there. It will be directly receive the receiver, but it won't care about the data loss also. If it loss also, UDP won't care about that. Once it's sent, that means sent. Initially, if you are sending any Gmail, right, it won't tell you actually. For your send box, it will mention as a send. But receiver side, if there is no receiver, it won't tell user not found. But in recent days, these guys are improved, like a user not found information. But earlier it was not there. Okay. So why actually this is matter? Like dedicate performance. TCP is reliable but slow. UDP bit faster but unreliable. There is each one have the pros and the cons. You have to choose which one you are going to use. Okay. So if you want to choosing how to choose like so TCP mainly for the integrity, like web, email, file transfer you can use it. The UDP mainly you can use for the speed critical apps like gaming, streaming, how the Netflix was doing. They will mainly use for the UDP. So sometimes if you guys check in the Netflix, you watch the movie until 13 minutes, 3 or 4 seconds. Sometimes you are back and it will start from the 13 only. That 4 or 3 seconds will be missed. Maybe even some milliseconds will be missed. Why? They are using UDP. Sometimes if it is lost, they can't be able to track. Okay. These are the 4 things. Whenever if you are learning anything, why actually this is matter, how to choose this TCP or UDP. Then when I have to use that's my old question answer only. What is that? What is the purpose? Where I want to use that? Simple. These three things applied for all the concept you will master in anything. Okay. So next one is the hypertext transfer protocol. How these things was evolved. That is the things here mentioned. So each version they have some fixes. First HTTP version 1 they have some issues. They improve the performance in the next version. So how you want to implement this one? So everything is available here. Okay. So when the things actually started, 1997 only HTTP 1 was there. After that is HTTP 2, the binary protocol. This is multiplexing actually. The next one is the HTTP 3 was there. This is based on the UDP, not a TCP. Why? Because TCP had some issues. It was a bit slower compared than the UDP. Why? Because it has to do the acknowledgement. It was sending or not. It has to track the packets. So this much things was there. Okay. Then another one is the security things. Let me do this one. You will guys will get some idea. Okay. Can you check here? How the client to server connection was established? I can do that. Okay. So like how the TLS and SSL handshake was happening. So client to server things actually. So that means in the middle, what are the layers I have, what are the layers I am passing, everything will be available here. How the connection will be established between my client, my server. Okay. Next one is a CDN, but this is a content delivery network. This is nothing but if you are open to your application, you are deploying any application. In your application, you have any images. Okay. That image just you directly load from your server, it will be bit slow compared than the CDN. So there is a plenty of providers was there, like how the DNS was working, right? Like that CDN also there. Everything is come under the networking concept. You guys just spend some time, but don't make any confusion. If you know simple thing, get the clear idea. What is TCP? What is UDP? When I have to use it, simple. If you know this much, this is more than enough. Yeah, as this up to your interest. If you are want to learn more in the networking guy, you can go focus on that one. Okay. So CDN is nothing but how the content was delivered. So what is the major purpose? Like whenever if server loading static things, static content is nothing but images. Like in your server, if you have the images in your website, you have load some images that are moreover is static things. That's not a dynamic thing. Images are always static. So you can use the CDN that time. It will be faster for loading the images. How that things was working? Yeah. Let me check this one. You will guys get some idea. Okay, if I am requesting this data, check how the San Francisco to how the edge node large answers, how to my server it was reaching actually. So if I am requesting again, so it won't take much time. 1 minute. So as of now, my Los Angeles things was closed. That means this is my cache. So first time if I am requesting, where it will going to, where it is actually going to my server. Like if any images, static images, if you want to load in your application, definitely you will keep. And then React also you guys doing like that only, right? In static command and the template static folder, you are keeping some images for your application, right? So if you instead of keep the images there, if you take any CDN, that will be faster for loading. If I am requesting first time, it will go to the edge node. The things is not available, then it directly go to my origin server. Now my edge node was connected. That means my CDN was connected. If I am requesting the data next time, it will take it from edge node directly. It won't go to my server actually. Okay, when you want to use it like a serving images, CSS, JS, video, or a distributed audience, like those kind of times you can use it. This kind of CDNs, okay. Okay, push CDN and pull CDN is nothing but how your GitHub commit was you are doing, right? Initially you are adding your commits, your codes like that. Initially you are adding your static things. After that you can pull your static things. Apart from that, nothing else. Okay. Keep in your simple, okay. So CDN catchy invalidation strategies also you can do that. When you have to clear, like whenever in my application down, I restarted, the catchy should be also evicted and it should be V2. So that means like here I have purge catch only. Here I have purge catchy, right? If I am doing that, my catchy will be clear. Yeah, my catchy will be clear. So not anymore it have my actual content. So if I am requesting what going to happen, again the data stored in the edge node. Okay. How the CDN impact, like without CDN, how much time it was taking? Like I used to ACR, it was loading some content, some images it was taking, right? How much time it was taken? So 250 milliseconds, 5.2 seconds for page load, for image load, everything. But after using the CDN as a content delivery network, that things will be reduced a lot. Like a latency, the page load, everything. Like if you are whenever if you are opening any website, right, that page was loading. So each content was published there, right? So everything is dependent on these things only. So nothing is any another science, another magic. Everything is come under this networking concept only. Okay.
Sir, how does we use this all?
How you want to, like you want to take the, if you want to use the DNS, okay. So you need a first no naming system you have, like how GitHub has naming, GitHub.io, GitHub.com they have, right? Like that you need a domain. So for the domain you have to go and you have to pay something. Once you pay, you will get the domain. I think currently this system I don't have, or else I have one. I have the domain provider. As of now, I don't have. Let me check if I logged in. I can show some things. No, I didn't log in. Okay. So I can show if it is image available. You have to pay something, then you will get the actual domain. Okay, it is not there. From the domain, I can able to map. So here I have public IP, right? What I am going to do, I will reserve this IP dedicated to me. It won't be changed in my entire lifetime. What I will do, once I got the domain system, domain provider, what I will do, I will tell my provider, whenever if anyone asking this name, you direct to read this router. I can tell them. If they did, that provider will be taken care of. That's why I am paying to those places. Like that CDN as well. CDN as well, you have to pay something.
We just buy the domain, then choose that the protocols and they will look up.
Protocols are the time protocols, everything they will take care of it. What is your main goal? You have to just map which guy you have to call. So like
Where do we call that?
you have to define in that provider. You don't need to call anyone. Like your users, your client will be there, right? Now I am the client for this GitHub.com, right? I am searching this content was available to me. So if I want to get the actual IP for this GitHub.io also, I can able to get it. So they are also having some provider, DNS provider. So what they will do, they will register their public IP to DNS provider. They will change to this name .com domain.
Clients has the DNS.
It won't be like that. Add the data. let us assume this is your product. Okay, so like this is mean your banking product. You have the your banking product. Okay, now this product if you deployed in the server, or else this you deployed in your, you just run your local host. Okay, now let us assume it has some public IP. As of now, for time being, I am giving the IP like this. Okay, now what, this is not a convenient thing if I am giving this IP to access my application like a landing page or login page. If I am anything doing this routing part you are doing in the front end, right? This slash login, slash landing page, slash dashboard, slash card, slash payment, everything you are doing in the routing page. Okay. Here, instead of do this public IP, what I can do, I can go to the my DNS provider. So this is the DNS provider. DNS provider is nothing but what these guys can do. This is guys. These guys as a middleman of the ISP. So whenever, okay, let me tell the, okay, let's keep in your mind, this is a DNS provider. Why you have the subscription, what you will do, you can register your public IP, then you can give some, assign some naming. What is the naming? By default, whenever if you are buying any provider, they will give some domain for you actually. Major domain, parent domain they will give like this is my domain. Okay, it's like amuthu.com is my domain. This is my parent domain. So what I can do, I have the 5 to 10 application. I can get the some child domain like a bank system like a pb dot this domain, pb dot muthu domain. Okay. Now you assign, how you are going to assign, you map to your public IP in your DNS provider. Okay. Any doubts? From client side, let us assume this is your client. Okay. From this client, if these guys are checking their ISP, these guys are coming with a name, right? What is that name? This bb dot com, muthu.com is the requesting. That time, this request go to this DNS. They will exchange this IP to these guys. Now I got the IP, I can able to reach your destination system. Clear? This is how the entire system networking concept was working. Okay. CDN also like that. If you want to load any static pages, static content, if you are loading a video, you are loading, you can register to the CDN. From that CDN, you can give it. Like I have Bunny CDN. Like there's so many providers was there.
When you are taking the domain only, they will ask that specific.
They won't ask. They only give the domain to you. You only have to configure. So I am going to use, if whenever anyone asking on it. Here can you see? So this is the industripilot.nxscale.com, right? nxscale.a. Here nxscale.a is our parent domain. Under this domain I can deploy so many applications. But this industry pilot application also have a public IP address. So what I did, instead of if I am giving the public IP address for the link, how you guys going to feed? This is, I can make the secure as well. I can, if you want to make the secure, you have to go in the name domain naming system. Then I have to change my public IP to here. Whenever if I am requesting industry.pilot, it will go to my DNS. DNS exchange the actual public IP. From that public IP, it will be able to communicate to my destination system. This system running in my GCP Google provider. It will directly go to that, it will access that provider. If I am doing that, the application will load. So how these things are loading?
How does we relate with the protocols? I understand the concept of that.
Here here protocol won't come to that. Protocol is totally different. That is for using some communication, how you are transferring the data between the things. I will explain that one later. Don't make a question. This is now DNS is CDN and those things clear, right?
Yes.
Protocol system I will explain. Like this request I am initiating, right? This is going to come under one particular protocol. Okay, HTTP or HTTPS. So these are also one of the protocol. Those are the networking protocol. Okay, I will explain it. So these are the things here. Okay. So until now, any doubts? Is it clear? Okay. So next things is going to the proxy and the load balancer. Load balancer we already know. Then what is proxy? These are all the words. What I am explaining, everything I definitely heard about. What is proxy? Everything. Right? I don't have the idea what is proxy. Any idea about what is proxy? Any ideas? Proxy means. These are the two things look like same. Actually, load balancer and the reverse proxy also look like same. First of all, let me explain what is proxy. After that, we will go to the reverse proxy. Proxy is nothing but that is the middleman between your client and the server. Until now, we go through all the network request, how the network request flow, everything we go through, right? Now, between the some guys also will be sit between the your client and your server. That guy is known as a proxy. Okay. So how the difference going to be? So actually, this is a most of the confusion place. Okay. So reverse proxy is nothing but this is the middleman between your client and the server. This guys will decide if you are asking this particular networking page, right? How it exactly giving that networking page? Or else here I am using some particular name, right? Front of it I am using some name. I am std I am used, right? This is one of the GitHub username. Dot GitHub IO if I am giving, how these things are coming actually using the proxy. In that reverse proxy, in the sense, if this request going to proxy, like we have the multiple proxy guys, Nginx, APS6, these are the proxy guys. Okay, these are the proxy tools. Okay, what these tools will do, it can able to communicate to my application. But if anyone reaching that application, these guys will decide. If anyone coming with like a user slash service, you can call this server. Anyone remember that API gateway? In your watchman, if you are asking where can I go to this block, they will tell B block available here, right? Like that. Watchman is there in the gate, like that proxy in that gate. That is just a middleman. That guy will guide. You can go here, you can go here, like that. It's everything based on the request name. So major proxy, reverse proxy will use the Nginx system. Some other guys also will be there. Okay. So how it actually confusing? Both guys are mainly used for the traffic controlling. Traffic is nothing but I have the 1000, 2000 request was coming.
Sir, when we send in a message to someone, means we have the IP. It has to match to their IP. The IXS then I think that when we send a message, it should be matched the IP address. Then we go to the. Then why the proxy?
Proxy need. This is my DNS. Okay, let us assume this is my client. Okay, this client sending some messages. That means he said as here call some APIs. It could be REST API assume. Okay, in the REST API, what is the request going to be? Like maybe I will banking system, right? bb.muthu.com. This is my request name slash. I'm going to do the payment. Like can I do the withdraw? So I just mention as a W. I'm going to withdraw. Okay. So what it will do? Actually, my server don't know what is this name. So what it will give to the DNS. So it will exchange the just IP exchange will happen here. Done. Here, once IP done, now I have the IP address. From the IP address, I am the sense this is the destination system. It will go to the internet. This is the internet part. My server available here. Okay, until now it doesn't reach to my server. Okay, if it is went to the internet, it is reached to this. If you want to reach this server, okay, assume this is your server IP. Okay, this IP only it's got it linked now. Now it directly picked my server. In that server, keep in your now bit depth. Now you guys think we 7 guys was here connected in the same internet. In my Chrome browser, my Brave browser, I requested one thing my to router. It went to DNS, resolved the IP, everything it was doing. Finally, it went to the server as well. Servers give the some response. Now response came to until the router. Now it router knows my private IP. Router sent back to my private IP. Okay. Now this is request sent from the Chrome browser, Firefox, or Brave. How my system was known? How my system is known? My question clear. Here, first question will be your guys. How it going to pick which system it was sent actually? Now it received until my system. How it is going to receive actually the final Brave browser here. That particular tab I have to get the response. How can I do it? So that time only proxy will come to the picture. Okay, so for understanding I am telling, but real will be a bit different. Okay, how the proxy will do it. Now this is the client side. We are all are the clients, right? So now what proxy will sit between the my server and the client. These guys will route. You go to this particular page. You have to give this response. You have to define in this proxy. Now this is a client side. Now we are all the developers, right? We are not the client. We have to become the server side. Let's come to the server. Now in the server, there is a multiple services also running in the banking system. User service, payment service. Okay. Now if whenever any withdrawal is coming, this has to come to the which service? Payment or user service? Payment service. Who is going to pick that one payment service? How it will correctly go into the payment service? Using proxy. Clear? Any doubt? Okay, that's how the proxy was working. But here, reverse proxy is nothing but it will go and return back to the response. That is simple as a reverse proxy. But here, it's often same as like a load balancing. Load balancing also doing the same thing, right? Load balancing also distributed the request. But now you guys don't have the confusion only because I explained with the depth. It was a lot of difference between the load balancer and the reverse proxy. Both guys are handling the request only, but the work was bit different. Okay, so you need to understand both. Okay, scale beyond one server, securing the internal network. Load balancer distributed the traffic. Reverse proxy add the security caching and SSL termination. Okay, fine. So if you want to deploy, okay, when to deploy? Always for production system recurring available and the scale. This is okay. Okay, these are the algorithms like a round robin, weighted round robin, IP hash. But as of now, don't need to focus on this. If you want to have more interest, focus on this round robin. Okay. So load balancer is nothing but it will exactly pick. It will distribute which server I want to give this request. Like if it is the load was more in the server one, it will give to the server 2. But reverse proxy is nothing but it sits between the internet and the server. It has to give the correct server. There is a bit difference. Okay. So it's mainly focused on the security related thing and the caching and those kind of things. This is mainly focused on the distribution. Okay. Okay. So these are the algorithms. If you want to understand the algorithm, you can choose the algorithm. You can able to understand how the things are working. Okay. You can able to send a request, a single request. You can send a multiple request, send a 1,000 request. How the things are distributed, how many requests, what is the response time, okay, what is the weightage, everything you can play with here. Okay, auto scale, if I add the auto scale, that means I am not sending the more requests, that means the single server is enough. Okay, if I am sending the 10 requests also, single server is enough. If I am sending the 100 requests, I think one server is able to handle here. But if you want to handle the more things, mm, okay, actually it depends on how many requests. It's here maximum 100 requests was there, but this one able to handle the 100 requests. That's why it's not increasing the another server. If it is more than crashed to the 100 or 1,000, when this server can breach, that time it will create a new server. Okay, that is called as a replica kind of thing. So this is the health check. I mentioned what is the health check and like my server is alive or death. Those things is come under the health check. Okay. So here in the proxy also two things. One is a reverse proxy, another one is a forward proxy. So you guys try to get some understanding. I just open. Just read this. You will definitely get the understanding. But any confusion, you let me know. What I explained initially for the proxy, that is also called for the forward proxy. I am just fully focused on the client side. Second time I explained as a server side, as a developer, that is a reverse proxy. So how the forward proxy going to client, come to proxy, it going to internet, it going to server. When clicking the reverse proxy, like it's came from the backend server, it back to my client. Simple. This is the flow actually. If you want major things like where it is sit, because proxy I mainly mentioned between the server to client. Forward proxy is nothing but it's your front end application from your client. Like a front end application proxy in the sense, if I am clicking the networking, my front end application only decide right which page I have to show. In that page, what I have to show in the reverse proxy, that is going to the backend. Like outbound requests, inbound requests, control client access, controlling load balancing, security. So those things. Okay. So this is most of the time interview tip you guys are full focused on that. Forward proxy is nothing but sit to the client side and hide the client. Reverse proxy is nothing but it's a server side, hide the servers. Simple. So here the next things is the gateway. Okay, these are things I already explained as a gateway. Right? So if you want to get some bit difference between the gateway and the load balancer. So because this proxy, gateway, load balancers look like the same, but each guy is doing bit different job. I have to understand that one. Okay. API gateway is nothing but it has the intelligent routing. Like now initially I told it, correctly pick this particular service, right? So those things also come under this gateway only. Okay. So which request I have to process is authorization request, authentication request. How many times this AP was triggered, the rate limiting. Sometimes if you are trying to like reset your password, or in your banking system you are giving the wrong password, wrong pin, right? They will block after some time. One or maximum 3 times they will block, right? So these guys are mainly focused on this rate limiting and those kind of things only. Okay, so when you have to choose which one, so we need authentication, authorization. We know already what is meant by authentication and authorization. Authentication is nothing but this is a correct user. Authorization is nothing but can able to give the access for this particular feature. That is authorization.
Can you
Top. This one. Hmm.
told the example of login
Hmm.
pin? Doesn't it come under to the authentication? Means on the backend,
Which one?
doesn't we block the user
No, I didn't.
when we are developing an application? Doesn't we block an user like after 3 times if you?
So there is a two kind of things. Like one things you can write in the code. That means you have to track the request. But by default, our application don't track the request. Gateway can track the request. If you want to track the request also, we can do. We have to add specifically. We have to add. But if you are using gateway, you have to set up some rules. It will take care of it. Those rate limiting is the same guy like from same AP. On second, 1,000 request was coming. What going to happen? That is definitely will be the hacker. They are trying to brute force. Brute force is nothing but I am trying to apply some different combination. So that time the rate limiter will okay this IP this much request coming between this milliseconds. So I am going to block this IP. It won't come. Gateway if you have to cross it.
For our application, does there any specifications to we need to keep like in authentication? Does we enable that in API gateways?
Yeah, we can do. So like you are asking we have to do or this is optional.
Yes. It gives the security for that and it blocks. But if I want to try for more times, 10 times, like I want to give the option for them, then
No, that is totally different. I gave the example for example or purpose only. What I gave, like if they are trying more than 3 times,
for our
that time your application
also,
itself you can track it. This user already failed 2 times within 1 hour. If the count was increased, the simple if condition itself you can do the request.
does we
This is the user level, but if it is a hacker level, your application won't be sufficient. 3 times only it will going to block. But if you are continuously you are processing the request, millisecond you are processing the million requests. How you are going to store the cache? How you are checking the condition? If you are completing one condition, another condition will come. Your application is going to breach. So before coming to my API layer, that my controller, before that only I can block it using the gateway. Like in the watchman, if anyone coming with the ID card, he can let them in. If they don't have the ID card, let them block outside itself. You are not allowed supposed to be. If you are entering inside, if you are in this room, you have the login system, you have to do the punch, then only it will open. Maybe you would do some duplication ID card in the gate. So if you come to here in this room, you have to do the fingerprint. That is another security. Gateway is a totally different. Outside of the entire application. How the routing will happening, how can I do the rate limiting, how much that time they can able to hit this API from per IP. If they are trying to brute force your everything, you can able to get the clear idea. So website we already discussed, right? So can anyone tell what is the website? Anyone remember that? What is website? Any idea what is website? forget. Website is nothing but is bi-directional communication. Once you establish the one connection, you can able to send, you can able to receive more things. Okay, it's not only the HTTP, it's not only the REST APIs, it's a website means like you can able to use for the real time things like real time communication you are doing, right? Those time you can use the website. Okay, so how the handshake will happen like this only. Gracefully system got stuck. Okay, it will be like this. Initially, it will send the things from the client side. Server will accept. That means the connection established. Data can exchange bi-directional, both direction. Client to server, server to client also they can exchange the data. Then finally, if you want, you can close the things. Okay, I will do again. So initially starting handshaking. Okay, accepted, connection established, data exchanging. Now finally you can close your things. Okay. So here we have some other things, scaling up, scaling challenge and the solution. Okay, website are stateful, so that means once connection established, from that only you can able to send the everything. Okay, so this is we have some issues also. If it is a stateful service, like what you have to do, each client you have to connect. Understood? So here some advantage also there, some disadvantages also there. So those are the things only described here. So if it is stateful also, we have some advantage and we have some disadvantages as well. So those are things available here. Next one is the load balancing strategies. We have the layer 4, layer 7 and DNS based. So these are the load balancing strategies. So layer 4 like I says called as a command under TCP. Okay. So like a hash the client IP, then route the same backend. Like it will be bit faster. Hashing is nothing but just to create some unique ID for that IP. From that, if you are redirecting to your backend server, it will be bit easier. Layer 7 is a HTTP. This contain the headers. Based on the headers, you stick with the mainly your session. Where your sessions will be live, it will be based on the cookie. Okay. It will be reliable for the routing and better distribution. How you are want to distribute your request, that will be easy. Next one is a DNS based. DNS based is nothing but we already knows the clear idea. So IP based distribution is coming particular domain. I have to distribute to which domain, which public key, that I know. So these are some fallback strategies like a server side, long term and short term. These are the major things. So this is so important production best practices. Okay, implementing heartbeat and ping pong detect the dead connection. What is mean by that? Implement the heartbeat or ping pong or predict the dead connection. What is mean by that? Any idea? So it's nothing but a health check. Is your server alive or not? So heartbeat is nothing but a health check only. Is your server is alive, it can able to reply back. If it is not alive, it won't reply back. That is implement the heartbeat. Okay. Next thing, use exponential backup for the reconnection. What is mean by that? Exponential means. What is mean by exponential? What is mean by reconnection?
If server was failing, then we have to don't if 1,000 users was requesting, then the data will be lost. Our system was crashed. For that to don't lose the data, we back up it.
Okay, fine. in your if your application is running successfully, but from your application to your database, the first time connection got failed. The second time you have to reconnect. So maybe it will try to 30 minutes or 1 minute or 30 seconds or 10 seconds. It's up to you. You can able to set up. First connection is failed. Try to always reconnect. That is called as a fallback. So these are the first production practices. Okay. Then close connection gracefully with proper codes. What is mean by that? Once there is no request is happening, like that means my client to server. So my like that not only like that in your backend system you have the database connection. When your Java application to your database, right? If you are not running any query, you can close the connection. No need to establish the connection. Okay. Next thing is a monitoring connection and the counts memory usages. That is too important. Like how your connection going to be, like how many users using your application, like how much memory the maximum used. These things are you don't worry about that. By default, the provider from the VM itself, you can track it. Okay. Now we are opening your task manager also. You can see how many thread was using, how many memories, how much memory used, how much RAM used. Everything you can see that. Okay, the same. What you don't do actually, don't use the WebSocket. We know WebSocket is a bidirectional communication, so don't use for all the things. Most of the time for messaging and notification time you can use the WebSocket, but don't use for the thread operations, creating, reading, deleting. That time don't use the WebSocket. That won't be good for that. Okay. Don't forget the cleanup resources on the close. That means like if you are take example, if you are using a Docker also, whenever if you are building, the image will be created. Once you update, the image will be used. But sometimes if you are not using that image anymore, please clean up that one. Don't occupy your storage until unless if you are building each image, it will be cost 1 or 2 GBs, right? So if you are continuously building, your local will be full. Okay. Then assume connection will stay alive forever. Like don't by default assume my server is alive, my server is dead. Don't do the assumption. Okay, try to always using heartbeat. I will get the check. Is it alive? My application is still working condition or dead, like that. Next thing is don't send a large payload. What is mean by that? Don't send a large payload. What is the exact meaning of the don't send the large payload in this?
Sending multiple requests.
They didn't get it. What is that?
Login is within a millisecond. Request is as
No. What is payload? What is payload? You guys are working in the front end as well, right? Tell what is payload. Data is payload. Okay, what are the requests you are sending? In that request, what are the data you have to pass? Like that means if you want to register to your application, what are the data you have to pass? Email, password, right? And the confirm password. These are the 3 things you have to pass. These are the payloads. So sometimes if you want to receive the massive data from the user, don't send as a single shard. If you chunk it, you can send it in multiple times. That's also not an issue. Okay, so now another tricky part. Now you have a large volume of data. Okay, all the things belongs to only one request. But now what I am telling you have to chunk it. That means break into the smaller units. If you are breaking in the smaller units, if you are reading the same API, how you are going to identify this data belongs to this particular request? How we can do that? Can anyone tell some logic? How can we do that? Is it question clear? I have large request data. That means a user. I have login form. In that login form, I am asking so many details: education details, experience, certification, achievements, username, details, address line 1, 2, like that. I am asking plenty of things. What I am telling now, don't send the huge payload. That means don't send the request data single shot. More data don't send it for single shot or for one API. Same API you have to send a chunk it and you have to send it. For request, like a first request you are sending to my backend system. You are sending the name and that address details. Next time you are sending education and experience. Next time you are sending a certification and achievements. If you are sending how your backend server will understood this every data belongs to one user. How can we do that?
Registration.
How? Think about the engineering point of view. How can we do that?
Same idea.
Hmm? How IP address? If IP address in the middle it was changed, that guy using some dynamic router. Take a simple example. Okay, you are the Zomato or Swiggy by delivery. Okay, so they are packing the same order for single person, but now the package was two packages. How you are going to identify two packages belongs to one guy? What are the ways you can do that? Hmm? Hmm?
Details.
Tell some real world things. Don't tell randomly idea detail. How you are going to do? You are the delivery guy now. You have five packages now. Two packages belongs to one guy. Three packages belongs to one guy. How you are going to give? How you are going to deliver that one correctly?
Name.
You have to write the name in the each package. Next,
Phone.
if you write the name itself fine. Why phone number need? Okay, name itself fine. I know I can able to identify this package belongs to this guy. But how can I identify how many packages was there for that guy? Think these are the two simple things.
Orders.
Data. We'll see the data.
I asked a simple term again telling data. What is meant by data?
I mean,
I am telling you are guys are the delivery agent now. Okay, you have the two guys delivery food now. Two parcel belongs to one guy, three parcel belongs to one guy. Now you guys telling I write the name for all the parcels. I can able to identify. Okay, that is good only. I gave some unique key. That means some unique name for each package. I don't want to mess up anything. Both guys' name should be same. I am not telling anything. Both guys' name was totally different only. You can able to identify. Now I am telling one guy have the two packages. One guy belongs to three packages. While you are delivering, how you are going to deliver the three package? How you are going to deliver the two package? How you know? Maybe in the traffic you forget. This guy, you thought this guy belongs to only two packages. You just parcel, you did two parcel. What he going to do? How you are going to do as a without loss? How you can do that? You wrote the name already. Definitely package name, package wrong delivery not possible definitely.
verify.
What? How you verify?
After went to there, what you have ordered, we just asked.
You have to ask them.
Yes.
What is this?
Order list.
In generally, you forgot what you have ordered, and then they'll told.
You don't have the option. The customer was different. What do you do? Think this is too simple. Same
From same account.
one delivery for one food order, they segregated also three parcel. Then what they have to mention? Totally how many packages? Three packages. That means each package you have to write the name with the what is the current package. Total package count is a 3. This is the parcel 1 or parcel 2, parcel 3. If you are giving the parcel total 3, this is the parcel 3. So this is the ID number 3. So this is belongs to one guy. Then how many left? 2 left. While seeing the package itself, parcel itself, I can easily identify. I have to ask the guy, I have to track the IP. What is this? Think always simple. So I have totally 3 package, 3 parcel. Write the count 3, total 3 count. This is the first count. This is the package 2. This is the package 3. This is the parcel 1. This is parcel 2. This is parcel 3. While I am giving any one of the parcel also, I am able to identify this is parcel 2. Then 1 and 3 was pending. I have to give those parcels. Okay, I can verify. This parcel belongs to that guy. Name I can check. I can verify it. I can give it.
If the same person ordered the 2 parcels.
That also not a confusion, right? If same person ordered the 2 parcel also, initially I mentioned clearly, both guys not the same.
If in the same apartment they are present, if 2 persons is there, like.
Then you have to add more data. Apartment, what is the delivery door number? Simple.
I told that by seeing the data only they will.
Oh, I don't want to the top level architect things. I am not asking. I am asking the depth level. I gave the real world example. I gave the real world example. You have to tell such a way like that, right?
And one more thing, sir. When we are applying jobs, they also chance their application. Like after sending, we can send this education. How does it work?
Now you applied for the same logic to them. What are the things we added in the parcel, each parcel? Name? Let me close. On the delivery food, 3 parcel belongs to one guy. Now let's come to a real world application. I have how many chunks? 4 chunks. 4 chunks belongs to one guy. So each chunk I have some unique ID. If that unique ID is coming, it belongs to this guy. Or else you keep it that username as well. Maybe that is the another guy will also come. But as of now, you keep it some unique ID. Okay, you created some unique ID. In that unique ID, you are telling these are the total chunks I have. Mistakenly, if the last chunk received first, it won't be the issue. It knows this is could be the last chunk. I have to wait for until first chunk received. I can able to order. I can able to order in that not a that order. This is a ordering. I have to place first, second, third. Finally, I can to insert to my database. If they are hitting the 4 times same API, they are chunking the data. I can easily hash. Initially, they can give some unique ID for that request. So if 4 times the same 4 requests they are initiated also, I have the data. What is the data? Unique ID. What is the current count? What is the total count? Understood?
Understood.
Everything is coming from the real world. If you can't, even now, if you any interview, you can't be able to answer from the technical term, think about the real world scenario. Try to apply that. Okay? These things are, parcel, delivery agent, parcel, these things I am telling, right? I am not preparing, while I am explaining, while I am go through these things, I am not preparing that much. Okay, I have to explain in the delivery partner level. I can only, tech level only I prepare. But it's come to that place, I have to even think such a way. How you guys going to understand? Like that, how I am trying to make you guys understood, right? Like that you have to make understood from the interviewer. Let's take you become in my place. How you are going to explain to others? That you have to do. Okay, so rest of the things is protocols and the queues. As of now, don't mix with this queues protocol. Okay, we are not using much, but if you need, I can explain, but not mandatory. No, okay. Okay. This is important. Okay, CDN advanced strategies. All CDN is but nothing but is a content delivery network, right? So here also the invalidation, pull versus push, multi-CDN, edge computing. So these kind of things was there in the advanced strategies. Okay, you guys just to go through it, what is that each things. Okay, CDN caching validation. What is CDN caching validation? That means initially you are cached some images, but while you are releasing the new version, you deleted the old images. So that time also you should delete the CDN as well. CDN also you have to evict the caching. You have to add the new caching. So that means the new images you have to add. Like that catchy busting. Catchy busting is nothing but versioning. Like let's take an example. You launch our application version 1. That time while you are building your images, Docker build image you are doing, right? You can keep some versioning. This is a version 1, this is a version 2, this is version 3. So you can do like that. So that is possible also there. So while you are doing the catch busting, that is too important for the versioning purpose. Okay. So if you are doing that, that time purge not required. Why? Because the CDN will pick the latest version only. Like what is mean by you deployed your application from the Docker image, right? Now first initially you are deployed from the V1 image, V1 industry pilot V1 image you deploy. Next time you are deploying, what you have to do, you have to kill the old cache, everything you have to do. But if you are picking the versioning directly, I am not picking the now this time for my container, I am picking the industry pilot V2. That time if I am clearing the my old cache, or that is not totally not required because all the things is picking from the latest. Some pros and cons also required, but that time some cons will be have to rebuild. Okay. So that is the things. Stale. What is stale? Any idea? That is meant by stale data and the stale content. Are you guys really studying front-end? Really do any practicing? I don't think so. So these are the full aspect actually. So how the setup complexity for pull the CDN, push the CDN. Here just some funny things is there. Like who's the winner in that one. So while you are pulling, while you are pushing, okay. So slow, catchy miss maybe in the CDN pull. Fast it will be warm like that. Here push will be when in the CDN. So it's just most of the some interactive things only this one, okay. I will share this link definitely, okay. So multi CDN architecture. You can just go through it. This is a really good documentation actually. Most of the time interview tips also added. Okay, maybe the most of the interview question. How you to handle the major content update need to go to the live immediately. So that means you have some content in your website or your application that should reflect on your application. Once you push, how can I do that? What are the ways? One is the things I have to evict my old cache. That means I have to remove my stale data. Or else I can keep the versioning. Because what are the latest URL I am using, I have to use that latest URL in my application. These are the two ways. Okay. So when you want to choose the push CDN over the pull CDN. So this is a really important, like a push CDN for known, popular and larger files. Whenever if you are choosing the push CDN, this is mainly for the popular and the larger files. Okay. If you are doing the OS update, if you are doing the patch or software download, that time you can use that. So once content is uploaded, served million times of the zero origin load, like all the once is uploaded to your server. If you want to load, that time how your things going to be pulled back to your server. So that time you can use the pull CDN. Okay. For pull CDN mainly used for the dynamic website where you can't predict what will be popular. Okay. So why would the company use the multiple CDN providers? What is the reason? Maybe one CDN provider will be crashed. My content will be delivered by the other CDN providers. Okay. So mainly CDN as a Bunny CDN Cloud, this guy is also there for the CDN providers. You can use it. Okay. So this is for the optimization actually. So this is moreover other things we go through. Everything is come under the networking. So I know this is a bit more theory, but get some idea. I will share these docs. You guys go through it again. You just read it once. You guys will get some idea what is the purpose, why it is having. Everything you will get some idea. Okay. So this is the optimization performance tools like connection pooling and the compression, everything. Okay. So these are the major things about the networking concept. So rest of things we'll see like how I can architect my data. So that is we'll see in the next session. Okay. Okay. Do you have any doubts or anything?